blur, whizzing blur. Why now? Most unpleasant invention. Nobody think ticker tape. Like this. I don't head coming down here stupid. Find what I lost. Idiocy. Greek village. Gyro sandwich. Souvlaki sandwich. Baklava. You know, Nicky, gypsy clothes, spangles, beads, angelically on Victorian boots. Never a fuck without a rape tossed in. No, not there. But only way she came was there. God forgive those don't fuck in the ass. Hey, Giro. You know, Nicky, souvlaki. You know, Nicky, St. Mark's Hotel, $25.60 and up, room rent. You know, Nicky, tattooed tubby. You know, Nicky, garbage still from when we left. Leather shops, tie wrists, ankles, blindfold, proceed. Want to know a secret? I want to know only secrets. When you use me like a boy, I'm your boy. You are my girl. My boy. Your hand puppet. Puppet. Make me a hand puppet. Ethnic jewelry. More leather. Old people. I'm one. Religious sex clothing shop. Incense. Nicky. Always Nicky. Burning gift shops. T-shirts. Incense. Never out of incense. Fire escapes still need paint. Long hairs. Last outpost. Movers. Red-faced brick. Broad women. Polish-American home cooking. And what will I say other than why? So why bother? There's less chance of her being here than my being her. Can't stand this. There is God. Can those be R's in the window? Nicky stained them, hung them, disappeared. I left $120 of Salvation Army shit. The wooden blinds she loved, there they are. The red tapes, faded slats, missing 30 years later. Nicky's blinds. Smoke? Want to smoke? Not today, honey. Man, I'm starving. I got great smokes, the real McCoy. Ain't had no breakfast, ain't had no lunch. Been out here 2 hours, ain't sold shit. Patience. Nothing illegal is achieved without patience, Benjamin Franklin. Ain't had fuck to eat, man. How much? 5. 2. Shit, this is the real McCoy. But as you are the one starving, the leverage is mine. Fuck you, old man, old Jew man. Tut, that's beneath you. Neither a Philo nor an anti-Semite be, and it must follow as the night the day thou canst not then be false to any man. Someday they ain't gonna be out here begging and selling shit. Gonna be Jews out here begging. Well, all the beggars is Jews. You're gonna like that. All the Jews will be begging when there is a black Mount Rushmore, my dear, and not a day sooner. When there is a black Mount Rushmore with Michael Jackson, Jesse Jackson, Bo Jackson, and Ray Charles carved upon its face. 2 for $5. I'm starving, man. Price is right. A deal. But you must learn to think more kindly of Jews. You people were here long before we were. We did not have your advantages. Nina, Cordelia, Desdemona, Estroff Pharmacy, still here, my God. Freie Bibliothek und Lesehalle Deutsches Dispensary. All basements, Indian boutiques, Indian restaurants, Tibetan trinkets, Japanese restaurants, Ray's Pizza, Kiev, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Introduction to Hinduism. Oh, she was reading Dharma, Artha Kama, and Moksha. Release from rebirth. Supreme goal, death. Certainly a worthy subject. Maybe the greatest. Certainly a solution for low self-esteem. The racing form, the Warsaw Papers, the bums, the Bowery bums still in the stairwells, head in hands, piss gushing out from their pockets. I'm on the real guilt trip, man. Say that again, please. Guilt trip. I need something to eat. I ain't had breakfast or lunch yet. Wouldn't worry, nobody has. I'm innocent, man. I was framed. Somebody help me. I'll take your case, son. I believe in your innocence no less than my own. Thanks, man. You a lawyer? No, a Hindu. And you? I'm Jewish, but I studied Buddhism. Yes, overachievers written all of your genes. What's it like to be a wise old Hindu? Oh, not for everyone, but I happen to love hardship. Live on plant foods from the forest. Seek constantly to achieve purity and self-control. Practice restraint of the senses. Perform austerities. Look, I got to eat something, man. Animal food is to be avoided. Shit, I don't eat animal food. Avoid actresses. How about chickses? For a Jew who studies Buddhism, the shiksa is not forbidden to eat. Ben Franklin, God forgive those who don't fuck in the ass. You're nuts, baby. You're a great Hindu man. I have passed through life in the world and performed my duties to society. Now I am reinitiated into celibate state and become like a child. I concentrate on internal sacrifices to the sacred fires of my own self. Far out. I am seeking final release from rebirth. Lamppost sex sale. Naked girl silhouette. Phone number. What's that say? I speak Hindu, Urdu, and Bangla. Well, that leaves me out. Shiksa. Mount Rushmore. Ava Gardner, Sonia Henney, Anne Margaret, Yvonne de Carlos. Strike Anne Margaret. Grace Kelly. She is the Abraham Lincoln of shiksas. So Sabbath passeth the time, pretending to think without punctuation, the way J. Joyce pretended people thought, pretending to be both more and less unfixed than he felt, pretending that he did not expect to find Nicky down in a basement with a dot on her head selling saris, or in her gypsy clothes roaming these streets of theirs in search of him. So passeth Sabbath, seeing all the antipathies in collision, the villainous and the innocent, the genuine and the fraudulent, the loathsome and the laughable, a caricature of himself and entirely himself, embracing the truth and blind to the truth, self-haunted while barely what you would call a self, ex-son, ex-brother, ex-husband, ex-puppet artist, without any idea what he now was or what he was seeking, whether it was to slide headlong into the stairwells with the substrata of bums, or to succumb like a man to the desire not to be alive any longer, or to affront and affront and affront till there was no one on earth unaffronted. At least he hadn't been witless enough to go find on Avenue C, where he personally had handed tomatoes to all the first-nighters. It'd be another grim hole in the ground with Indian cuisine. Nor did he cut across Tompkins Park to where his workshop once had been, where they'd fucked so hard and so long that the couch would slide on its casters halfway to the door by the time he'd had to dress and race back to beat Nicky home from the theater. That bewitching bondage now seemed like a fantasy of a 12-year-old boy. Yet it had happened to him and to Rosanna Cavanaugh, fresh from Bennington College. When Nicky disappeared, aside from the grief and the tears and the torments of confusion, he was also as delighted as a young man could be. A trap door had opened, and Nicky was gone. A dream, a sinister dream, common to all. Let her disappear. Let him disappear. Only for Sabbath, the dream came true. Dragging him down, spewing him forth, knocking him flat, beating him like the batter in his mother's mixmaster. Then, for the finale, a breech delivery onto the shore, leaving him abraded and stinging from where he'd been dragged across the pebbled shingle by the churning of the wave he'd mistimed. But when he got up, he didn't know where he was. He could be in Belmar. But out to the depths he savagely swam, back to where Morty had a gleaming arm stuck straight up and was shouting over the sound of the sea, "Hercules, come on!" Morty caught every wave right, zinc-striped nose plowing the way. He'd ride a wave when the tide was full, from way beyond the last rope to damn near up to the boards. They used to laugh at the Waquaig guys down from Newark. "Those guys can't ride waves," they'd say. "Those Newark Jewish kids were all escaping polio. If they were home, they'd beg to go swimming at the amusement park pool up there in Irvington, and as soon as they paid and got their ticket, they immediately got polio, so their parents took them down the shore. If you were a Jew from Jersey City, you went to Belmar. If you were a Jew from Newark, you went to Bradley. We used to play blackjack with them under the boards. I was introduced to blackjack by those Waquaig guys, then developed my skills further at sea. Those blackjack games were legendary in our little backwater. Down for double, up the chute, and the Jewish Waquaig broads at the Brindley Avenue beach in their two-piece suits, their Waquaig bellies bare. Loved it when they came in for the summer. Up till then, all you did was listen to the radio and do your homework, a cloistered, quiet time. And suddenly everything was happening. The streets in Asbury were jammed with people. The boards in Bradley were jammed at night. From the moment the Memorial Day weekend began, our small-town life was over. Waitresses all over Asbury, college girls from all over the country lining up there to get a job. Asbury was the hub, next came Ocean Grove, the Methodist shtetl where you couldn't drive on Sundays, and then Bradley. And down on the beach, Jewish girls from every part of Jersey. Eddie Schneer, the parking lot thief Morty and I worked for, used to warn us, don't mess with Jewish girls. Save it for the shiksas. Never get nasty with Jewish girls. And the Jewish city guys from McQuake who said we couldn't ride the waves. We used to have wave-riding contests with them, bet them, and ride waves for money. Morty always won. Our great summer times before he joined the Air Corps. And when the tide was out and the ailing and the arthritic all drifted down to dunk themselves at the water's rippling edge where the sunburned kids with their leaky toy buckets were shoveling for sand crabs, Morty, his pals, and little Sabbath carved a large rectangular court up on the beach, drew a line dividing it, and 3 or 4 to a side, clad in their sopping suits, they played buzz, a deceptively ferocious beach game devised by the daredevil shore kids. When you're it, you have to go over and touch someone on the other side and get back before they pull your arms out of the sockets. If they catch you on the line, your team pulls you one way and the other team pulls you the other way, much like the rack. And what happens, Drenka asked him, if they do catch you? They pull you down. If they catch you, they pull you down, they tackle you, and they sodomize you. Nobody gets hurt. Drenka laughed. How he could make Drenka laugh when she asked him to tell her about being an American boy at the shore. Buzz, sand scratching your eyes, stuffing your ears, burning your belly, packing the crotch of your suit, sand between your buttocks, up your nose, a clump of sand stained with blood spat from between your lips, and then, together, Geronimo! Everyone out again to where the surf was calm now and you could sun yourself on your back, swaying sleepily, laughing at nothing, singing opera at the top of your lungs. Toreador, don't spit on the floor, use the cuspidor, that's what it's for. And then, spurred by sudden heroic impulse, spinning about on your belly for a dive to the ocean floor, 16, 18, 20 feet down. Where's the bottom? Then the lung-bursting battle up to the oxygen with a fistful of sand to show Morty. On Morty's day off from being a lifeguard at the West End Casino, Mickey didn't leave his side, either on land or sea. What a pounding he could take, and how great that felt when he was a happy-go-lucky kid before the war, letting himself go riding the waves. Not so now. He clutched the edge of the street vendor's stand, waiting for the coffee to save him. Thought went on independently of him, scenes summoning themselves up while he seemed to wobble precariously on a slight rise between where he was and where he wasn't. He was trapped in a process of self-division that was not at all merciful. A pale analog to what must have happened to Morty when his plane was torn apart by flak, living your life backward while spinning out of control. He had the definite impression that they were rehearsing the cherry orchard, even as he carefully took the coffee cup in one disfigured hand and paid with the other. There was Nicky. This mark she had left on his mind could open out like the mouth of a volcano. It was already 30 years now. There is Nicky, listening the way she listened when she was given even the minutest note, the look of voluptuous attention, the dark, full eyes, without panic, tranquil as only they were when she was having to be someone other than herself, murmuring his words inwardly, brushing her hair off her ears so nothing was between his words and herself, breathing little sighs of defeat to acknowledge just how right he was. His state of mind, her state of mind. His sense of things, her sense of things. Nicky, his instrument, his implement, the self-emulating register of his ready-made world. And Rat-a-tat Sabbath, the insuperable creator of her hiding place, born to deliver her from all the losses and from all the fears they'd bred, missing not so much as the movement of an eye, punctilious to the point of madness, dangerously prodding the air with the finger so that nobody dared even to blink when he laid it out, every detail in that overbearing way of his. How frightening he looked to her, a little bull with a big mind, a little keg filled to the spout with the intoxicating brandy of himself, his eyes insisting like that, warning, reminding, scolding, mimicking. It was all to Nicky like a ferocious caress. And she felt in her, overriding everything timorously, this stony obligation to be great. Oh, my childhood, that's a question. Don't lose that soft, questioning tone. Fill the speech with sweetness. To Trofimov, you were only a boy then, etc. Some sweet charm has gone there, too. More playful, broken. Charm him. Your entrance, vivacious, excited, generous. Parisian, the dance. I can't sit still, etc. Be sure to get rid of the cup long before this. Get up. The Parisian dance with Lopakhin takes you downstage. Downstage. Compliment Lopakhin on his unexpected excellence in Parisian dancing. You, Varya, wagging a finger at her. It's mock chastisement. Then, teasing, quick, kissing both her cheeks. You're just the same as ever. The line, I don't quite follow you, much dizzier. Laugh audibly after mentioned in the encyclopedia. Don't lose the laughing and the noises. Make all the delicious noises you want. They're wonderful. There, Ranyevskaya. Much more teasingly provocative with Lopakhin when he goes on and on about the sale of the orchard. That's where you get your bigness. For you, this business talk is just a marvelous occasion to bewitch a new man. Bewitch him! He's as much as invited you to by saying he loves you the very moment he lays eyes on you. Where are those teasing sounds? The seductive moan, the musical, Chekhov. The important thing is to find the right smile. Tender, Nicky. Innocent, lingering. False, real. Lazy, vain. Habitual. Charming. Find the smile, Nicky, or you'll completely fuck up. Her vanity. Powder your face. Dab a little scent. Straighten up your back and make yourself look beautiful. You are vain and you are aging. Imagine that. A corrupt and weary woman, and yet as vulnerable and innocent as Nicky. There from Paris. Let's see how lightly you can take that. Must see the smile. 3 steps, only 3, up from the torn telegram before you turn back and break down. Let's see the breakdown as you retreat to the table. If only this weight could be lifted from my heart. Look at the floor, musingly, gently. If only I could forget my past. Keep looking down, reflectively, and through his line. Then look up and you see your mother. It is mother. Introduces the past, which magically then appears as Petya. She sees mother in a tree, but can't recognize Petya. Why does she give Petya the money? This is not convincing as you are doing it. Does he flirt with her, charm her? Is he a great friend of old? Something has to have been before to make it creditable now. Yasha. Who is Yasha? What is Yasha? He is living proof of her bad judgment. There is no one there. This whole speech, from the beginning to the end, is as to a child, including it looks like a woman. Lopakhin's past is to be beaten with the stick. Your childhood Eton was his childhood hell. Consequently, he does not make a sentimental tsimis out of purity and innocence. Unshrinkingly, Nicky, without shrinking, you cry. Look, it's mother walking in the orchard. But the last thing Lopakhin would want to see is his drunken father resurrected. Think of the play as her dream, as Liuba's Paris dream. She is exiled in Paris, miserable with her lover, and she dreams. I dreamed that I returned home and everything was as it used to be. Mother was alive. She was there. She appeared right outside the nursery window in the form of a cherry tree. I was a child again, a child of my own called Anya. And I was being courted by an idealistic student who was going to change the world. And yet, at the time, I was myself, a woman with all my history, and the serf's son, Lopakhin, himself grown now too, kept warning me that if I didn't chop down the cherry orchard, the estate was going to be sold. Of course, I couldn't chop down the cherry orchard, so I gave a party instead. But in the middle of the dancing, Lopakhin burst in, and though we tried to beat him back with a stick, he announced that the estate had indeed been sold, and to him, to the serf's son. He drove us all out of the house and began to chop down the orchard. And then I awoke. Nicky, what are your first words? Tell me. The nursery. Yes, it's to the nursery that she's returned. At one pole, the nursery, at the other, Paris. The one a place impossible to retrieve, the other impossible to manage. She fled Russia to elude the consequences of her disastrous marriage. She flees Paris to leave behind the disastrous affair. A woman in flight from disorder. In flight from disorder, Nicoletta. Yet she carries the disorder within her. She is the disorder. But I was the disorder. I am the disorder. According to Morty's Benrus, eternity was officially beginning for Link Gelman at the Riverside Memorial Chapel on Amsterdam Avenue in just about half an hour. Yet, dedicated as Sabbath was to seeing what a man could make of a wreck of a life if he only had the wherewithal, when he reached the Astor Place station, instead of hurrying down for the train, he became engrossed by a small company of gifted players enacting, with effectively minimalist choreography, the last degrading stages of the struggle for survival. Their amphitheater was this acre or two of lower Manhattan, where everything running north, south, east, and west comes unstuck and together again in an intricate angling of intersections and odd-shaped oases of open space. Don't have to be a Rockefeller to help a fella. Don't have to be a Rockefeller to help a fella. A tiny black being with a bashed-in face hopped up with his cup to recite for Sabbath in a gentle, sing-song voice, rather belying the chain of events 3 centuries long that had culminated in this pinprick of tormented existence. This guy was barely living, and yet, thought Sabbath, counting how many others were working the adjoining territory with cups of their own, clearly he was man of the year. Sipping at the dregs of his own cup, Sabbath at last looked up from the submerged blunder that was his past. The present happened also to be in progress, manufactured day and night like troop ships at Perth Amboy during the war. The venerable present that goes back to antiquity and runs right from the Renaissance to today. This always beginning, never-ending present was what Sabbath was renouncing. Its inexhaustibility he finds repugnant. For this alone he should die. So what if he has led a stupid life? Anyone with brains knows that he is leading a stupid life even while he is leading it. Anyone with brains understands that he is destined to lead a stupid life because there is no other kind. There is nothing personal in it. Nonetheless, childish tears well up in his eyes as Mickey Sabbath, yes, the Mickey Sabbath of that select band of 77 billion prize saps who constitute human history, bids goodbye to his one and onlyness with a half-humbled, broken-hearted, "Who gives a shit?" A grizzled black face, wild and wasted, eyes bereft of any desire to see, blurred, muzzy eyes that Sabbath took to be at the twilight edge of sanity, appeared only inches from his own grizzled face. For such wretched affliction Sabbath had the stomach, and so he did not turn away. His own anguish he knew to be but the faintest imitation of a sub-life as abhorrent as this one. The black man's eyes were terrifying. If, deep in that pocket, his fingers are twisted around the handle of a knife, I may not be doing what I should be doing by holding my ground like this. The beggar shook his cup like a tambourine, causing the change to rattle dramatically. A heavy odor of rot polluted his breath, as into Sabbath's beard he whispered conspiratorially, "It's just a job, man. Somebody's got to do it." It was a knife, jabbing into Sabbath's jacket, a knife. "What's the job?" Sabbath asked him. "Being a borderline case." Try to remain calm and to look unperturbed. "You do appear to have had your share of disappointment." "America love me." "If you say so." But when the beggar lurched heavily against him, Sabbath cried out, "Let's not have violence. You hear? No violence." This provoked from his assailant a gruesome grin. "Violence, violence. I told you, America love me." Now, If what Sabbath felt pushing into him was indeed the tip of a knife milliseconds from impaling his liver, if Sabbath truly had the desire not to be alive any longer, why did he bring the heel of his big boot so forcefully down on that beloved American's foot? If he no longer gave a shit, why did he give a shit? On the other hand, if this limitless despair was only so much simulation, if he was not so steeped in hopelessness as he pretended to be, whom was he deceiving other than himself? His mother? Was a suicide required for his mother to understand that Mickey had amounted to nothing? Why else was she haunting him? The black man howled and stumbled backward, whereupon Sabbath, fiery still with whatever impulse had saved his life, looked quickly down to discover that what he had taken for the tip of a knife was something in the shape of a grub or a slug or a maggot, a soft worm of a thing that looked as though it had been dipped in coal dust. It made you wonder what all the fuss was for. In the meantime, nobody on those streets seemed to have noticed either the pecker, that was nothing to write home about, or the crazy bastard to whom it belonged, and who, in what was admittedly a clumsy effort, not thoroughly thought through, had wanted merely to become Sabbath's friend. Nor had anyone noticed Sabbath stomp him. The encounter that had left Sabbath in a sweat appeared to have been as good as invisible to the two beggars who were no farther from the puppeteer than one corner of the boxing ring is from the other. They were intimately talking together across a supermarket cart, and a load of transparent plastic bags stuffed to bursting with empty soda bottles and cans. The lanky one, who appeared from the proprietary way he sprawled across it to be the owner of the cart and its loot, was wearing a decent enough sweatsuit and sneakers that were practically brand new. The other, shorter man was wrapped in rags that could well have been appropriated off the floor of an auto garage. The more prosperous of the two spoke in a large, declamatory voice. "Man, there ain't enough hours in the day for me to do all the things I got scheduled." "You fucking thief," replied the other weakly. Sabbath saw that he was weeping. "You stole it, you shit-face." "Sorry, man, I'd pencil you in, but my computers are down. The automatic car wash don't work. You don't do a drive-through at McDonald's in under 7 minutes, and they get it all wrong anyway. Things we supposed to be really good at, we ain't good at anymore. I call IBM. I ask them, where can I buy one of them laptop computers? Call their 800 number. He says, I'm sorry, the computers are down. IBM, he repeated, looking gleefully at Sabbath. And they ain't got it together. I know, said Sabbath. The TV fucked it up. The TV fucked it up good, man. The challah machine, said Sabbath, is the last thing that works. Look at a window full of challah. No two exactly alike, and yet all within the genre. And they all still look like they're plastic. That's what challah wants to do. Wanted to look like plastic even before plastic. That's where they got the idea for plastic. From challahs. No shit. How you know that? National Public Radio. They help you understand things. There's always National Public Radio to help me understand no matter how confused I may be. The only other white man anywhere nearby was standing in the middle of Lafayette Street, one of those bantamweight, red-faced bums of indeterminate age and Irish descent who'd been making a home of the Bowery for decades now and was so familiar to Sabbath from back when he had lived in the neighborhood. He was clutching a bottle in a brown paper bag and talking quietly to a pigeon, a wounded pigeon, that couldn't get itself up on its legs and take more than a wobbly step or two before keeling over on its side. In the midst of the early afternoon traffic, it vainly fluttered its wings, trying to get moving. The bum stood straddling the pigeon, using his free hand to direct the cars to drive around and on through the intersection. Some drivers, angrily honking their horns, came perilously close to deliberately running him down, but the bum only cursed them and continued to stand guard over the bird. With the flapping sole of one of the sandals he was wearing, trying gently to help the pigeon find its equilibrium, he repeatedly nudged the bird up to its feet, only to see it tumble to its side once the assistance was removed. It looked to Sabbath as though the pigeon had been struck by a car or was ill and dying. He came over to the curb to watch as the bum with the bottle, wearing a red and white baseball cap with the logo Handy Home Repair, leaned down toward the helpless creature. "Here," he said, "have a little. Have some. and he spilled a few drops from the mouth of the bottle onto the street. Though the pigeon obstinately worked to recover the power of self-locomotion, it was clear how with each succeeding effort its strength was ebbing away. So, too, was the magnanimity of the bum. Here, it's vodka. Take some. But the pigeon remained oblivious to the offering. It lay on its side, barely stirring, its wings unable to do much more than intermittently twitch and collapse. The bum warned, "You're gonna get killed out here. Drink, you fucker." Finally, when he could no longer endure the bird's indifference, he reared back and kicked the pigeon as hard as he could out of the path of the oncoming traffic. It landed in the gutter only feet from where Sabbath was standing to watch. The bum marched over and kicked it again, and that took care of the problem. Spontaneously, Sabbath applauded. As far as he could tell, there were no longer street performers like himself. Streets far too dangerous for that. The street performers now were the homeless beggars and bums. Beggars' Cabaret that was to his own long-extinct indecent theater what the Grand Guignol was to the darling Muppets and their mouths. All the decent Muppets, making people happy with their untainted view of life. Everything is innocent, childlike, and pure. Everything is going to be okay. The secret is to tame your prick. Draw attention away from the prick. Oh, the timidity. His timidity. Not Henson's. His. The cowardice. The meekness. Finally afraid to be utterly unspeakable, choosing to hide out in the hills instead. To everyone he had ever horrified, to the appalled who considered him a dangerous man, loathsome, degenerate, and gross, he cried, "Not at all. My failure is failing to have gone far enough. My failure is not having gone further." In response, a passerby dropped something into his coffee cup. "Cocksucker, I haven't finished." But when he plucked the object out of the cup, it wasn't chewed chewing gum or a cigar butt. For the first time in 4 years, Sabbath had earned a quarter. "God bless you, sir," he called after his benefactor. "God bless you and your loved ones and your cherished home with the electrical security system and the computer access long-distance services." At it again. How he'd begun was how he'd end. He who'd gone gloomily around for years, believing his life of adulteries and arthritis and professional embitterment to have been senselessly lived outside the conventions without purpose or unity. But far from being disappointed at the malicious symmetry of finding himself 30 years later once again on the street with his hat in his hand, he had the humorous sensation of having meandered blindly back into his own grand design, and you had to call that a triumph. He had perpetrated on himself the perfect joke. By the time he went off to panhandle in the subway, his cup contained over $2 in change. Clearly, Sabbath had the touch, the look, the patter, the battered, capsized, repellent, whatever it was that got under people's skin sufficiently fast for them to want to shut him down just long enough to scoot on by and never see him or hear him again. Between Astor Place and Grand Central, where he had to change for the Suicide Express, he lumbered dutifully from car to car, shaking his cup and reciting from King Lear, the role he hadn't had occasion to perform since he'd been assailed by his own tomatoes. A new career at 64, Shakespeare in the subway, Lear for the masses. Rich foundations love that stuff. Grants, grants, grants. At least let Rosanna see that he was out hustling, on his feet again, after the scandal that had cost them his $2,500 a year. He was meeting her halfway. Financial equity between them was restored. Yet even as he was regaining a working man's dignity, a residual sense of self-preservation cautioned him that he wasn't clowning on Town Street. In Madamascar Falls, human corruption was considered to reside pretty much in him, Sabbath alone the menace. No one is dangerous anywhere around. No one but that midget Jap Dean. He hated her fucking midget guts, not for her leading the coven that cost him his job. He hated the job. Not for losing the dough. He hated the dough. Hated being an employee on a payroll who got a paycheck that he took to a bank where behind the counter there was a person they call a teller because she had it in her to tell even Sabbath to have a good day. He could not think of anything he hated more than endorsing that check. except perhaps looking at the stub where all the deductions were tallied up. It always got him, trying to figure out that stub. Always pissed him off. Here I am at the bank endorsing my check, just what I always wanted. No, it wasn't the job. It wasn't the money. It was losing those girls that killed him. 12 of them a year, none over 21, and always at least one. That year, the fall of '89, it had been Kathy Goolsby, a freckled redhead with a Schick's overbite, a hefty, big-limbed scholarship kid from Hazleton, PA, another of his treasured 6-footers, a baker's daughter who worked in the shop after school from the time she was 12 and who pronounced kin, and going to the way Fats Waller did when he sang, "I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter." Kathy displayed an unlikely flair for meticulous puppet design that reminded him of Rosanna when she started out as his partner. And so, more than likely, it would have been Kathy that year had she not accidentally left on the sink of the second-floor women's room of the college library the tape that, unknown to her teacher, she had made of a phone conversation they'd had only days earlier, their fourth. She swore to him that all she intended to do was to take the tape into a toilet stall so she could listen there in privacy. Swore to him that she brought it with her to the library only because, since they'd got going together on the telephone, her head, even without her headset, was ablaze with little else. She swore to him that vengefully robbing him of his only source of income had never entered her mind. It had all begun when Kathy phoned his home one evening to tell Professor Sabbath she had the flu and couldn't turn in her project the next day, and Sabbath, seizing on the surprising call to quiz her paternally about her goals, learned that she was living with a boyfriend who tended bar at night in the student hangout and was at the library during the day writing a poli-sci dissertation. They talked for half an hour, exclusively about Kathy, before Sabbath said, "Well, at least don't worry about the workshop. You stay in bed with that flu." And she replied, "I am." "And your boyfriend?" "Oh, Brian's at Bucky's, working." "So you're not only in bed, you're not only sick, you're all alone." "Yeah." "Well, so am I," he said. "Where is your wife?" she asked. And Sabbath understood that Kathy was his nominee for the school year 1989-90. When you feel a strike like that at the end of the line, you don't have to be much of a fisherman to know you've hooked a beaut. You get a move on when a girl who speaks only the stunted argot of her age group asks in an uncharacteristically languid, slitheringly restless voice, with words that waft out of her more like odor than a sound, "Where is your wife?" "Out," he replied. "Are you warm enough, Kathy? Is it the chills making you make that noise?" "Uh-huh." "You must be sure you're warm enough. What are you wearing in bed?" "My PJs." "With the flu? That's all?" "Oh, well, I'm boiling in just these. I keep having flushes." "Well," laughing, "I do, too." And yet, even as he began to reel her in cautiously, gently, without haste, taking all the time in the world to haul her on board, big and speckled and thumpingly alive, inwardly, Sabbath was so excited he did not begin to realize that it was he being guided up through the leagues of lust by the hook with which she pierced him. Had no idea, he who'd passed into his 60s only the month before, that it was he being craftily landed, and that someday, very soon now, he would discover himself eviscerated, stuffed, and hung as a trophy on the wall above the desk of Dean Kimiko Kakizaki. All the way back in Havana, when Yvonne de Carlo had said to the young merchant seaman, "You finished? Get off," he had come to understand that in dealing with the wayward, you must never allow your cunning to be set aside along with your skivvies simply because of the mad craving to come. And yet it never occurred to Sabbath, no, not even to wily old Sabbath, cynical now for a good 50 years, that a big, strapping Pennsylvanian with all those freckles could be quite so deficient in ideals as to be setting him up for bringing him down. It was not 3 weeks after her first call that Kathy was explaining to Sabbath that she had begun her evening's work listening to their tape in the stacks at the Carrol piled high with books for Western Civ, but that after only 10 minutes the tape had made her so wet she had left everything and taken off with the headset for the ladies' bathroom. But how did the tape wind up on the sink, Sabbath asked, if you were listening to it in a toilet stall? I was taking it out to put something else in. Why didn't you do that in the stall? Because I would only have started listening again. I just didn't know what to do, basically. I thought, this is crazy. I was like so wet and swollen. How could I concentrate? I was in the library to research my paper, only I couldn't stop masturbating. Everybody masturbates in libraries. That's what they're for. This does not explain to me why you walk away leaving a tape. Somebody came in. Who? Who came in? It doesn't matter. Some girl. I got confused. By then, I didn't even know what I was doing anymore. This whole thing has made me crazy. I was, afraid from getting so crazy from the tape, and so I just walked out. I felt really awful. I was going to call, but I was, afraid of you. Who put you up to this, Kathy? Who put you up to taping me? Now, however justified Sabbath's anger may have been by what was either an unforgivable oversight or an out-and-out betrayal, as Kathy sat sobbing in the front seat of his car, unburdening herself of the news, even he knew himself to be being less than ingenuous. He had parked fatefully enough across from the Battle Mountain Cemetery where Drenka's body would be laid to rest just a few years later. The truth was that he, too, had taped their conversation, not only the conversation on the tape she'd left at the library, but the 3 that preceded it. But then Sabbath had been taping his workshop girls for years now, and planned to leave the collection to the Library of Congress. Seeing to the collection's preservations was one of the best reasons he had, the only reason he had, to one day get a lawyer to draw up a will. Including his 4 with Big Kathy, there were a total of 33 tapes, perpetuating the words of 6 different students who'd taken the puppetry workshop. All were locked away in the bottom drawer of an old file cabinet, stored in 2 shoeboxes marked Chorus. A 3rd shoebox marked Taxes 1984 contained Polaroids of 5 of the girls. Each tape was dated, and all were organized alphabetically and responsibly, by Christian names only, and filed chronologically within that classification. He kept the tapes in excellent order, not only so that each was easy to locate when he needed it to hand, but so that they could be quickly accounted for if he ever worried, as irrationally as he sometimes did, that one or another had gotten misplaced. From time to time, Drenka would like to listen to the tapes while sucking him off. Otherwise, they never left the locked file cabinet, and whenever he took one of his favorites to play a patch for himself, he would double-lock the studio door. Sabbath knew the danger of what he had in those shoeboxes, yet he could never bring himself to either erase the tapes or to bury them in the garbage at the town dump. That would have been like burning the flag. No, more like defiling a Picasso, because there was in these tapes a kind of art in the way that he was able to unshackle his girls from their habit of innocence. There was a kind of art in his providing an illicit adventure not with a boy of their own age, but with someone 3 times their age. The very repugnance that his aging body inspired in them had to make their adventure with him feel a little like a crime, and thereby give free play to their budding perversity and to the confused exhilaration that comes of flirting with disgrace. Yes, despite everything, he had the artistry still to open up to them the lurid interstices of life, often for the first time since they'd given their debut BJ in junior high. As Kathy told him in that language which they all used and which made him want to cut their heads off, through coming to know him she felt empowered. I still have moments when I'm uncertain and scared, but for the most part, she said, I want to spend time with you. I want to take care of you. He laughed. You think I need taking care of? I mean it, she said earnestly. What do you mean? I mean, I could take care for you. I can take care of your body and your heart. Yes? You've seen my EKG? You're afraid when I come I'll have a coronary? I don't know. I don't know what I mean, but I mean it. That's what I mean, what I just said. And I can take care of you? Yeah, you can. Which part of you? My body, she dared to reply. Yes, they experienced not merely their capacity for deviancy, what they'd known of since 7th grade, but the larger risks that deviancy entailed. His gifts as a theater director and a puppet master he poured without stinting into these tapes. Once he'd passed into his 50s, the art in these tapes, the insidious art of giving license to what was already there, was the only art he had left. And then he got nailed. The tape, Kathy forgot, had not only landed by morning in Kakenzaki's office, but was somehow hijacked and re-recorded before it even reached the dean by an ad hoc committee calling itself Women Against Sexual Abuse, Belittlement, Battering, and Telephone Harassment, whose acronym was formed from the last 7 words. By dinner time the following day, Sabbath had opened up a phone line on which the tape was continuously played. The local phone number to call, 722-2284, fortuitously enough, SABBATH again, was announced by the committee's co-chairpersons, 2 women, an art history professor and a local pediatrician, during an hour-long call-in show on the college radio station. The introduction prepared by Sabbath for the telephonic transmission described the tape as the most blatantly vile example of the exploitation, humiliation, and sexual defilement of a college student by a professor in the history of this academic community. You are about to hear, the introduction began, spoken by the pediatrician, and sounding to Sabbath appropriately clinical, though lawyerly as well. Lawyerly with palpable hatred. 2 people talking on the telephone, one a man of 60 and the other a young woman, a college student who has just turned 20. The man is her teacher, acting in loco parentis. He is Morris Sabbath, adjunct professor of puppet theater in the 4-college program. In order to protect her privacy and her innocence, the name of the young woman has been bleeped whenever it appeared on the tape. That is the only alteration that has been made in the original conversation, which was secretly transcribed by the young woman in order to document what she had been subjected to by Professor Sabbath from the day she enrolled in his course. In a candid, confidential statement given voluntarily to the steering committee of Sabbath, the young woman revealed that this was not the first such conversation into which she had been lured by Professor Sabbath. Moreover, she turns out to have been only the latest of a series of students whom Professor Sabbath has intimidated and victimized during the years he has been associated with the program. This tape records the 4th such telephone conversation to which the student was subjected. Footnote. What follows is an uncensored transcription of the entire conversation as it was secretly taped by Kathy Goolsby and by Sabbath, and played by Sabbath for whoever called 722-2284, and took the 30 minutes to listen. In just the first 24 hours, over 100 callers stayed on the line to hear the harassment from beginning to end. It wasn't long before tapes reproduced from the original began to turn up for sale around the state, and, according to the Cumberland Sentinel, as far afield as Prince Edward Island, where the tape is being used as an audio teaching aid by the Charlottetown Project on the State of Canadian Women. What are you doing right now? I'm on my stomach. I'm masturbating. Where are you? I'm home. I'm on my bed. You all alone? Mm-hmm. How long are you alone for? Long time. Brian's at a basketball game. I see. How nice. You all alone and on your bed, masturbating. Well, I'm glad you called. What are you wearing? I'm wearing my clothes. What clothes are you wearing? Wearing jeans and a turtleneck. Standard wear. Yes, that's your standard wear, isn't it? I was very excited after I spoke to you last time. You're very exciting. Mm-hmm. You are. Don't you know that? But I felt bad. I felt like I disturbed you when I called you at your house. You didn't disturb me in terms of my not wanting to hear from you. I just felt that it was a good idea to stop that before it went any further. Sorry, and I won't do it again. Fine, you just misjudged, and why not? You're new to this. Okay, you're alone and you're on your bed. Yeah, and also, I wanted. Last time we talked, you said about. I told you I felt disgusted, when I get really disgusted. And you said about what? And I said about whatever I said. Like I said, my lack of ability in workshop. And then I think I was just being very evasive. I didn't really, I felt that I couldn't really tell you. It's just much more specific. I'm just well, maybe it's just not. It's like I like to think about sex all the time. Do you? Yes, I do. I just feel I can't do anything about it. It's very good sometimes. You masturbate a lot? Well, no. No? Well, I really don't have the opportunity. I'm in class, and it's also boring, and my mind is just elsewhere completely, and you have sex thoughts. Yeah, constantly. And I think it's normal, but sort of extreme, and I feel guilty, I guess. Really? But what do you feel guilty about? Having sex thoughts all the time? Everybody does. You think so? I don't think most people think like that. You'd be surprised at what most people think like. I wouldn't worry about it. You're young, and you're healthy, and you're lovely, so why shouldn't you, right? I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I read in psych about people, diagnosed hypersexual, and I'm like, hey, now I feel I'm just gonna, you're gonna think I'm a nymphomaniac, and I'm not. I don't, whatever. I'm not out having sex. I don't know. I just think I sexualize every interaction I have with people. And I feel guilty. I feel like this, no good. You feel that way with me? Well, you sexualized our phone calls. I sexualized our phone calls. Nothing wrong with that. You don't feel guilty about that, or do you? Well, I don't know. I guess I don't feel guilty. I feel very empowered. But nevertheless, I'm just saying, in general, I don't sit around thinking I lack ability. I just sit around thinking, what is going on in my head? I can't stand it. So you're going through the time when you're obsessed with sex. It happens to everybody, especially as nothing in school is interesting you. I think that's the problem. It's like I react to it. I have to rebel or something. It doesn't engage your mind. And so your mind is empty and something moves in, and what moves in, because you're frustrated, the thing that can answer the frustration is sex. It's very common. There's nothing on your mind, and it's filled by this thing. Don't worry about it, okay? Yeah, I'm glad. You see, I feel like I could tell you this, but I couldn't tell anybody else. You can tell me, and you have told me, and it's fine with me. You're in Levi's? You've got on your turtleneck shirt? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. You know what I want you to do? What? Unzip your Levi's. Okay. Undo the button. Okay. And unzip it. Okay. I'm in front of the mirror. You're in front of the mirror? Yeah. Lying down? Yeah. Now pull your Levi's down. Pull them down around your ankles. Okay. And take them off. I'll give you time. Did you get them off? Yeah. What do you see? I see my legs, and I see my crotch. Do you have bikini underpants on? Yes. Take your hand and put your finger right on the crotch of your underpants, just on the outside of the underpants. Rub it up and down. Just rub it gently up and down. How's it feel? Good. Yeah. Feels real good. Feels so nice. It's wet. Is it wet? It's really wet. You're still outside the underpants. Just on the outside, rub it. Rub it up and down. Now, move the underpants aside. Can you do that? Yeah? Now put your finger on your clitoris. Just rub it up and down and tell me how that feels. Feels good. Make yourself excited that way. Tell me how that feels. I'm putting my finger in my cunt. I'm on top of my finger. You on your belly or on your back? I'm sitting up. You're sitting up and looking in the mirror. Yeah. And you're going in and out. Yeah. Go ahead. Fuck it with your finger. I want it to be you, though. Tell me what you want. I want your cock. I get it really, really hard. You want me to stick it in you? I want you to stick it into me hard. A nice stiff cock inside you. Oh, I'm touching my breasts. You want to take your turtleneck off? I'm just lifting it up. You want to put the nipple between your fingers? Yeah. How about wetting it? Wet it with your fingers. Wet your fingers with your tongue, and then wet the end of your nipple. Is that good? Oh, God. Now, fuck your cunt again. Fuck your cunt. And tell me what you want. Just tell me what you most want. I want you on top of my back. Your cock inside me. Oh, God. Oh, God, I want you. What do you want, bleep? Tell me what you want. I want your cock. I want it everywhere. I want your hands everywhere. I want your hands on my legs, on my stomach, on my back, on my breast, squeezing my breasts. Where do you want my cock? Oh, I want it in my mouth. What are you going to do when it's in your mouth? Suck it. Suck it really hard. I want to suck your balls. I want to lick your balls. Oh, God. And what else? Oh, I just want you to squeeze me. Then I want you to start pumping me. Pump you. I'm pumping you right now. Tell me what you want. I want you to pump me. Oh, I want you inside me. What are you doing now? I'm on my stomach. I'm masturbating. I want you to suck my breasts. I'm sucking on them right now. I'm sucking on your tits now. Oh, God. What else do you want me to do to you? Oh, God, I'm going to come. You're going to come? I want to. I want you here. I want you on top of me. I want you on top of me right now. I'm on top of you. Oh, God. Oh, God, I have to stop. Why do you have to stop? Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid to not be able to hear. I thought no one was coming back. I thought he was playing basketball. Well, you never know. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God, this is awful. I have to stop. I want your cock pumping me hard, digging into me. Oh, God, what are you doing right now? I have my cock in my hand. You squeezing it and rubbing it? I want you to rub it. Tell me. I want my mouth on it. I want to suck it. Oh, God, I want to kiss it. I want to put your cock in my ass. What do you want to do with my cock right now? I want to suck it right now. I want to be between your legs. You pull my head. Hard? No, just gently. And then I'll move around. Let me suck you. I'll let you. If you say please, I'll let you. Oh, God, this is torture. Is it? You got your finger in your cunt? No, it's not torture. Put your finger in your cunt, bleep. Put your finger in your cunt. Okay. Put your finger right up inside your cunt. Oh, God, it's so hot. Put it up in there. Now move it up and down. Oh, God. Move it up and down, bleep. Move it up and down, bleep. Move it up and down, bleep. Fuck it, bleep. Fuck it. Come on, fuck it. Fuck it. Oh, God. Oh, God, go ahead. Fuck it. Oh, oh, Mickey. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God, Jesus Christ. I want you so bad. Oh. Ah! Did you come? Yeah. Was that good? Yeah. Want to come again? No? No. I want you to come. You want to make me come? Yeah. I'm going to suck your cock. Tell me how you're going to make me come. I'm going to suck you slowly, up and down, slowly move my lips up and down your cock, move my tongue. I'm going to suck top off your cock really slowly. Oh, God. What do you want me to do? Suck my balls. Okay. I want you to put your tongue on my ass. Want to do that? Okay. Make my asshole very excited with your tongue. Yeah, I can do that. Put your finger up my ass. Okay. You ever do that? No. Take your finger while we're fucking. Gently put it on my asshole. And then fuck my ass with your finger. Do you think you'd like that? Yeah. I want to make you come. Play with it with your hand. And when a little drop comes out, you can smear the head of it with the drop. You like that? Yeah. Did you ever fuck a woman? No. Didn't you? No. Just have to ask, you know. Nobody at school ever tried to fuck you? No woman ever tried to fuck you in the 4-college program? No. Really? No. Not that I haven't thought about it. You have thought about it? Yeah. What do you think? I think about being on top of a woman and sucking her breasts and putting our cunts together and rubbing, kissing. Never did it. You ever fuck 2 men? No? Did you? Not that I recall. You ever think about that? Yeah. You have fantasies about it? Yeah, I guess so. I think about just sort of anonymous men fucking. Did you ever fuck a man and a woman? No. Did you ever think about that? I don't know. No? Maybe, yeah, I guess so. Why are you asking all the questions? Well, you can ask me questions if you want. Did you ever fuck a man? No. Never? No. Really? Yes. Did you ever fuck 2 women? Did you ever fuck a prostitute? You did? Oh, my God. Yeah, I fucked 2 women. Did you like it? I loved it. I love it. Really? Yeah, they loved it, too. It's fun. I fucked 2 of them. They fucked each other, and then they both sucked me. And then I would suck one of them while the other sucked me, and that was good. I had my face in her cunt, and the other one would be sucking on my cock, and then the first one would be sucking on the other one's cunt. So everyone would be sucking everybody else. And sometimes one of them sucks you and makes you hard, and then she puts it in the other one's cunt. How does that strike you? Oh, it's good. I like to watch them suck each other. It's always exciting. They make each other come. There are lots of things to do, aren't there? Yeah. Frighten you? Yeah. Does it really? A little bit. But I want to fuck you. I want to fuck you. I don't want to fuck you with someone else. I'm not asking you to. I'm just answering your questions. I just want to fuck you. I want to suck your cunt. Suck your cunt for an hour. Oh, bleep. I want to come all over you. Come on my breasts. You like that? Yes. You're a very hot girl, aren't you? Tell me what your cunt looks like now. No? You're not going to tell me what it looks like? I can imagine it. It's a beautiful cunt. You know what happened? What? I had a gynecologist appointment, and I thought the gynecologist was coming on to me. Was he? She. She was? It was very different from anything that ever happened to me before. Tell me. Well, I don't know. She was just like... She was very pretty. She was beautiful. She put the speculum in, and she said, "Oh, my God, you have so much stuff in here." And she kept saying it. She just sort of lifted out this huge glob. I don't know. It was weird. She'd touch you? Yeah, she put her hand in me. I mean, her fingers to do the exam. Make you excited? Yeah, she touched it. I have a little burn on my thigh, and she touched it, and she asked me what happened. I don't know, it was different. And that's when what? Nothing. Well, tell me. I just felt really good. I thought I was crazy. You thought you were crazy? Yeah. You're not crazy. You're a hot kid from Hazleton, and you're excited. Maybe you should fuck a girl. Oh. You can do whatever you want, you see. You want to make me come now? Yeah. I'm all sweaty. It's cold here, too. Yeah, I want you to come. I want to suck your cock. I want it so bad. Come on, keep going. You have your hand on it? You bet. Good. Are you rubbing it? I'm jerking it. You're jerking it. I'm pumping it up and down. I'm pumping it up and down. I'm going to take my balls out. Oh, it feels good, bleep. It feels good. Where you want me? I want your cunt to sit right down on my cock, to slide on top of it, and to just start pumping up and down, to sit on it and go up on it. Squeeze my breasts? I'll squeeze them. Squeeze my nipples? Oh, I'll bite your nipples. Your beautiful pink nipples. Oh, bleep. Oh, it's filling up with cum now. It's filling up with hot, thick cum. It's filling up with hot, white cum. It's going to shoot out. Want me to come in your mouth? Yeah, I want to suck you right now, very fast. I want to put you in my mouth. Oh, God, I'm sucking it hard. Suck it, bleep. Suck me. Faster and faster. Suck me, bleep. Oh, God. Suck me, bleep. Do you want to suck my dick? Yeah, I want to suck you. I want to suck your cock. Suck my stiff cock. Hard, stiff cock. Suck my hard, stiff cock. Oh, God. Oh, it's full of cum, bleep. Oh, bleep. Suck it now. Oh, 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 my goodness. Oh, are you still there? Yeah, that's good. I'm glad it's you who's still there. Oh, sweetheart, you're an animal. An animal? You think so? Yeah. A human animal? Yeah. And you, what are you? A bad girl. That's a good thing to be. It's better than the opposite. You think you have to be a good girl? Well, it's what people expect. Well, you be realistic and let them be unrealistic. Jesus, there's a mess here. Oh, lovely bleep. Are you still alone? Yes, I'm still alone. When's your wife coming back? The listener will quickly recognize how by this point in his psychological assault on the inexperienced young woman, Professor Sabbath has been able to manipulate her into thinking that she is a willing participant. Of course, to get the woman to think that it is her fault, to get her to think that she is a bad girl who has brought her humiliation on herself by her own cooperation and complicity. The car descended the slope of Battle Mountain to the lonely spot where he'd arranged to pick her up, the crossroad separating the woods from the fields that led to West Town Street. All the way down the 1,800 feet, she wept, with her whole body shaking, immersed in pain, as though he were lowering her alive into her grave. Oh, it's unbearable. Oh, it hurts. I'm so unhappy. I don't understand why this is happening to me. She was a big girl whose production of secretions was considerable, and her tears were no exception. He'd never seen tears so large. Someone less of a connoisseur might have taken them for real. Extremely immature behavior, he said. The sobbing scene. I want to suck you, she managed to moan through her tears. The emotionality of young women. Why don't they ever come up with something new? Across the road, a couple of pickup trucks were parked in the dirt lot of the roadside nursery, whose greenhouses constituted the first reassuring signs of the white man's intrusions into these wooded hills, once the heartland of the Madamascas, to whose tribes the local falls were said by those opposed to the profane installation of a parking lot and picnic tables to have been sacred. It was in the numbingly cold pool of one of the remotest tributaries of those sacred falls, the brook that spilled down the rocky steam bed beside the grotto, that he and Drenka would gamble naked in the summer. See Plate 4, detail from the Madamasca vase of dancing nymph and bearded figure brandishing phallus. On bank of brook, note the wine jar, a he-goat, and a basket of figs, from the collection of the Metropolitan Museum, 20th century A.D. Get out. Disappear. I want to suck you hard. A worker in coveralls was loading malt sacks onto one of the trucks. Otherwise, there wasn't anyone in sight. Mist was rising beyond the woods to the west, the seasonal mist that to the Madamascas undoubtedly meant something about reigning divinities or departed souls, their mothers, their fathers, their Mortys, their Nickies, but to Sabbath recalled nothing more than the opening of Ode to Autumn. He was not an Indian, and the mist was the ghost of no one he knew. This local scandal, remember, was taking place in the fall of 1989, 2 years before the death of his senile mother, and 4 before her reappearance jolted him into understanding that not everything alive is a living substance. This was back when the great disgrace was still to come, and for obvious reasons he could not locate its origins in the sensuous stimulus that was the innocuously experimental daughter of the Pennsylvania baker with the foreboding surname. You besmirch yourself in increments of excrement. Everyone knows that much about the inevitabilities, or used to. But not even Sabbath understood how he could lose his job at a liberal arts college for teaching a 20-year-old to talk dirty 25 years after Pauline Réage, 55 years after Henry Miller, 60 years after D.H. Lawrence, 80 years after James Joyce, 200 years after John Cleland, 300 years after John Wilmot, 2nd Earl of Rochester, not to mention 400 after Rabelais, 2,000 after Ovid, and 2,200 after Aristophanes. By 1989, you had to be a loaf of Papa Goolsby's pumpernickel not to be able to talk dirty. If only you could run the 29 penis on ruthless mistrust, cunning negativity, and world-denouncing energy. If only you could run a 29 penis on relentless mischief, oppositional exuberance, and 800 different kinds of disgust, then he wouldn't have needed those tapes. But the advantage a young girl has over an old man is that she is wet at the drop of a hat, while to engorge him it is necessary at times to drop a ton of bricks. Aging sets problems that are no joke. The prick does not come with a lifetime guarantee. The mist was rising preternaturally from the river, and the pumpkins ripe for carving dotted, like the freckles on Kathy's face, a big open field back of the greenhouse, and affixed to the trees, wouldn't you know it, all the right leaves, every last one tinted to polychromatic perfection. The trees were resplendent precisely as they'd been resplendent the year before, and the year before that, a perennial profusion of pigmentation to remind him that by the waters of the Madamascas he had every reason to weep, because that was about as far as he could have got himself from the tropical sea and the romance run, and those grand cities like Buenos Aires, where a common seaman of 17 could eat for peanuts in 1946 at the greatest steakhouses along the Florida, they called the main street in B.A. Florida, and then cross the river, the famous Plata, to where they had the best places, which meant the places where there were the most beautiful girls, and in South America that meant the most beautiful girls in the world. So many hot, beautiful women. And he had sequestered himself in New England. Colorful leaves? Try Rio. They got the colors too, only instead of on trees, they're on flesh. 17. 3 years Kathy's junior, and no ad hoc committee of molly-coddling professors to keep me from getting clapped, getting rolled, or getting stabbed to death, let alone getting my little ears molested. I went there deliberately to get myself molly-bloomed. That's what 7 fucking teen is for. Frost, he mused. thought Sabbath, passing the time until Kathy got the idea that not even with his low standards would he dare to risk his dick again with an out-and-out adder, and that she should just slither back to the Japanese Viperina. The dim meatballs who were the proud descendants of the settlers who'd usurped these hills from the original Goyim, an epithet historically more accurate than Indians, and more respectful, too, as Sabbath had explained to that pal of Rosanna's who taught hunting and gathering as a literature course. Where was I, thought he, when once again the blandishments tumbling forth from the perfidious Kathy caused him to lose the dim meatballs, long now the reigning Goyim, all crowing gaily, as in when our hearts were young and gay. About another frost, lower temperatures than even the night before, when Rosanna, wearing only a nightie, had been found by the state police at 3 a.m. stretched out on her back across Town Street waiting to be run over. An hour or so earlier, she had left their house by car, but had failed even to negotiate the first 50 feet of the 100 yards of curving dirt incline that lay between the carport and Brick Furnace Road. She had been speeding off, not for town, but for Athena, 14 miles away, where Kathy shared an apartment with Brian a few blocks from the college at 137 Spring,